Grenada may be far from Washington, but like the rest of the world, the effects of economic policies set there are rippling across borders. Retired businessman and former business sector representative in the Upper House of Parliament, Christopher Diali, says Grenada will have to examine the U.S. tariff move from two key angles. One, the effect on goods coming into Grenada from the U.S., and two, the effect on goods we export to the U.S. market.
In terms of what we send into the U.S., for example, our rums or chocolate and so on, if they impose a 10% tariff or duty on those things coming in that wasn't there before, it automatically means that the prices of our goods on the U.S. market will increase. That can have an impact on our production costs here and what it sells for in the market in the U.S. and how versus our competitors in the U.S. is going to affect what they export into the U.S. So it can have revenue implications for the businesses that will fall under.
The 10% reciprocal tariff recently announced by the U.S. could increase the cost of imported goods, affecting everything from raw materials to food and electronics. Diali warns that inflation is a likely outcome, with the cost burden passed on to local businesses and eventually to consumers. The hardest hit sectors, he says, will likely include construction, manufacturing, and retail, where price sensitivity and profit margins are already tight.
We have a huge trade deficit with the U.S., meaning that we import a lot more than we export. What that has is that, well, the effect of that on Grenada is that the prices of things in food and other stuff will go up significantly if the tariff that he wants to implement on ships made in China, where he's going to implement a $1 million US to $1.5 million US dollar charge on any ship made in China that docks in the US or a port in the US. That will significantly increase the freight of goods coming into the Caribbean and will have a major impact inflation-wise and otherwise.
He believes this is a wake-up call for Grenada to diversify its trade relationships and strengthen regional supply chains to become less vulnerable to bigger economies.
If we could get products out of South and Central America, it may significantly give us a relief and not impose this high inflation that this kind of tariffs that the U.S. is trying to do is projecting to have a cause on us and our goods. So at the end of the day, our economists and our prime ministers have to start looking differently of the level of stuff that we depend on from the U.S. and see how we could develop trade agreements with Brazil and Mexico and Costa Rica and those countries in the South that produce a number of things that we are in the market for, and see how we can mitigate against what is proposed by the Trump administration.
As Grenada waits to see how the tariff takes effect in practical terms, business leaders are already bracing for price hikes. In future newscasts, we'll explore how these changes could affect local exporters and what are the options to keep Grenada competitive. Reporting for GBN News, I am Nisha Paul.